Guys, we have Ford Bronco Raptor news for you. That's right. I've been dying for something like this to happen because up until now, the Ford Bronco that we've been seeing on the roads, the test mules, have all looked a little underwhelming. Now we have something that looks seriously off-road capable with a lot of stuff on it that we will be talking about a little bit later on. But here's the best part. This thing looks like it is nearly production ready. And as you'll see with these photos, oh yeah, this baby looks real. Now we're talking serious off-roading. Thank you, thank you. So let's get right to it. Now first of all, we're going to get the brand new Bronco this spring. That's when it unveils. Now when that vehicle comes out, we don't know whether or not they're going to show all the different variants of it. Hopefully, this is indeed the Bronco Raptor. Who knows, they might call it a Raptor Bronco, but I doubt it. So this is what we know about the Bronco so far. Ford's confirmed that it's here for 2020, as I said. Now, it could show up at the New York Auto Show in April, but it may not arrive until the Detroit Auto Show in June. Ford has not officially announced an exact date yet. It's entirely possible that it may pop out during the show or just before one of the auto shows, which is what they've done before with other products. We've received spy photos of other vehicles, including our own videos that we've put together where we've chased some test mules around. And all of those vehicles had different configurations and different setups on them, but there were a few things that seemed to hold over, and we'll cover that. We got a much better look at the suspension. So it's coil spring setup, solid rear axle, independent front suspension. For some of you, that's good news, and some of you, not so great news. Now, one of the recent patents that they applied for showed that it will most likely have a removable roof. Now, we don't know whether or not that's going to be multiple different roofs, the way Jeep does it, where they have a hard top and a soft top option. We're pretty sure about the hard top, but a soft top, well, we're just not sure. And they're making an awful lot of fuss covering up that roof. I mean, look how pillowy that camouflage is covering the roof. That is something that they do not want you to see. But we have had some photos in the past where we're able to look into the inside of the vehicle as well, and we've seen some tube bars in there that are very similar to a roll cage. So it's entirely possible that this top is not only removable, it might be completely removable, not just partially removable like some people thought. Also, the doors, well, those things should be removable as well. As a matter of fact, if you look very carefully at the side mirrors, they're not mounted to the door. They're actually mounted to the front window frames. So if you pull the doors off, the mirrors won't come with it, which actually makes it a lot easier to do something like that, like remove the doors. We've seen lots of sketches and patents and whatnot about tube doors possibly being used there. It could happen, guys. So we don't know for sure. The test mule that we saw earlier that we chased around on video looked like a two-door. So there may be a two-door and a four-door setup. It is pretty obvious in these pictures, all of these vehicles are definitely four-door. All right, so reports suggest that this vehicle will have a 2.3-liter Ecoboost engine just like the Ford Ranger. Now, the Ranger puts out 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. And it has a 10-speed automatic transmission. We hear rumors that they're considering a manual transmission for the Bronco, but we have no proof one way or the other. It would be great to have, obviously, but they may just stick with a 10-speed. There's no word on pricing, but we do expect it to compete with the Jeep Wrangler, and to a lesser extent, the Land Rover Defender. Now, we recently did a video where we actually got a chance to compare notes on those three vehicles, the Wrangler, the Defender, and this upcoming Bronco, and that video is available. So what do we see with this Bronco? First of all, it's beefier in every way. When we first saw it, we were screaming like a bunch of baboons because it finally is showing what we wanted to see, serious off-road potential. It doesn't look as sedate as the other test vehicles that have been out there, which have been running with road tires that are fairly small, road wheels. It doesn't look like there's a lot of room for a lot of articulation, all that stuff. This is different. There's a little bit more detail on the headlights as well. You can actually see that halo-style LED that has been getting passed around and has shown up in a lot of sketches, drawings, and leaked photos. So it's a pretty good bet that those halo headlights will be available with the Bronco. All right, let's get to tires, because this tells you a lot about this vehicle. These are 315/70 R17 Goodyear Wrangler. A lot of tire makers do make a specific tire to a specific vehicle, so maybe that's what's going on here. But nonetheless, this is a good size off-road tire with a lot of aggressive tread built specifically to be taken off-road. And they're wide and they're beefy, which means they can also be aired down. They're on 17-inch wheels. Now, they look kind of like beadlock wheels. They look a lot like beadlock wheels, but we don't know if they're functional or not. Nowadays, it's really hard to tell unless you're up close. But even if they're not, the fact is, with that much sidewall, you can air down quite a bit, which makes them, once again, more off-road worthy. And we're thrilled about that. Now, there's both wide front, really wide front, and wide rear fender flares. This is what got me excited, because what they did was they removed a huge chunk of material that was in the way of the old tires, and they put on these fender flares. And these fender flares, and the fact that there's more space inside that wheel well area, means that articulation should be enhanced even with the larger tires. Now, it also looks like it's a little higher off the ground, and I don't know for sure if that's a lift or if that's just the larger tires that are doing it, and it's still the same height as it was with the other model we saw, which drove past in a video that we recently put up. But I can say this. It looks like, and it would be very logical for them to put on Fox shocks similar to the ones that they have available on the current Ford Raptor F-150. There's another thing here. If you look at the profile shots, and to a lesser extent some of the other shots, but really the profile shots, it looks like it's got rock sliders on the side of that baby. You do not see that on the other versions of this test vehicle. So it looks like rock sliders might be part of the package, which means they've tested them, which means they're really serious about off-roading, because there aren't that many vehicles that have a production version which also can come with rock sliders. Once again, that's Jeep territory. So that is really good news for those of you who like to go off-road. There's more. So around the back, there still is a single exhaust. It doesn't look like they have a dual exhaust in the future for this vehicle, at least with the test mules out there. But that's okay, because it still might be something new. The other exhausts we've seen aren't as substantial as this one. This one looks a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit deeper. So does that mean that instead of the 2.3 liter four-cylinder engine, it's hooked up to a 2.7 liter V6? Now, if it has that Ecoboost engine, that means that this Bronco Raptor, if indeed that's what this is, could have a lot more horsepower. Currently, the 2.7 liter that's used in the F-150 puts out 325 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. Now imagine that in a vehicle this size. Yeah, now we're talking about some serious power for something that is the size of a Wrangler. Wrangler's output's nowhere near this. Although the Wrangler diesel's torque would be pretty damn close to this. This is also the same engine that they're using in the Ford Edge ST, so it's a seriously powerful power plant. It would kind of give you something different to put on the side when you put Raptor up there. Instead of just saying this is a Raptor, so it's a suspension vehicle only and there's nothing unique about the powertrain. No, this is a Raptor version of the Bronco, and it has more power and it's more off-road capable. That would make a lot of sense, at least to us. So yes, it's wishful thinking, but it seems logical. So we've discussed tires, suspension, overall body design, and possibly an engine change, meaning that this vehicle could be something very special above the already new Bronco that's coming out in this spring. Isn't that exciting stuff? I love the fact that those tires look so big and badass on this vehicle, and that they put on bulging fenders, which is just both for the look, which always is cool. Come on, let's face it. Half of the cool thing of the Ford Raptor is the fact that it looks badass, and functionality. Now, I don't know, none of us do, exactly how much wider it is over the regular Ford Bronco. However, I'm going to guesstimate that it's about 6 inches wider, up to. That's the fenders and tires. They are a lot bigger than the regular one. I kept going back and forth between the pictures of the test mule that had just the basic stuff on it and this. And they really do look different, just in every possible angle. So that's all good news for those of you who like a really wide vehicle. Now, finally, cost. We honestly don't know. There's no way to tell what Ford's going to price it at altogether. However, the Ford F-150 Raptor, according to Ford, starts at $53,000. And if you believe that, I have a couple bridges to sell you because there is no way you can get them for that price. Realistically, closer to $60,000. And most are selling for around $70,000. Now, granted, this is not exactly that truck. It's a smaller vehicle, but we're thinking more along the lines of it's still going to be damn pricey, and I'm thinking at least a 10% increase over what the standard Bronco is going to be. And that's just my own personal guess. We will have more news as it comes, guys, but we wanted to get these pictures out to you as soon as possible. Oh, there's one more important thing. Did you notice the front of the vehicle? Did you see that opening up front? That has got to be a mounting bracket for a winch. Ford was kind of indicating that they wanted to be able to put one in there, and a winch would fit in this area. It looks like it's exactly built for that. Oh my God, if that would be the possibility, then I could actually get it stuck and get it out without having to worry too much, right? So anyway, guys, thank you again for joining me for the Fast Lane Car. This is Nathan. Don't forget to go to tflcar.com for more news, views, real-world reviews, and a lot more Bronco coverage.